everyone, welcome back to my channel Tutelage, a guide to learner. Here, this is Sriparna. Hope all of you are doing good. In my last session, we had discussed some teaching methods, but today we are also going to explain another some teaching methods under the same chapter, and that is teaching aptitude, and that's why the session is called as Teaching Aptitude Part 8. So let's start the session and move on the next. So here we can see some topics which we will discuss today. So first one is computer assisted learning and game based learning, and second topic is seminars, tutorials and assignments, and third one is case study and interactive video. All are the teaching methods. So we have already told that thing. We will discuss some teaching methods today. So now going to the main slide and let's start the session. So first teaching method, that is computer assisted learning, and with the use of new technology, learning has become very much faster. It makes learning active, efficient and convenient. Okay, so computer assisted learning has been gaining popularity as it makes learning active, efficient and convenient by the use of modern technology. With the use of new modern technology, learning has become very much faster compared to the traditional way of teaching, traditional methods uh, of teaching. Okay. So you all know that nowadays we used interactive whiteboards, smart classes, and we are also using PPT here for this specified session. So basically, computer assisted learning may be defined as any kind of learning that is mediated by computer. That is mediated by computer, okay, and which requires no direct interaction between the user and the human instructor in order to run this process. So now going to some examples. So gaming process, drill and practice, all are the examples of the computer assisted learning. Basically computer there are two opportunities of the computer assisted learning. First one is the remedial measures, academic support, and second one is exposure to computer. Okay, so different studies have shown that access to computers with educational software can significantly improve the student performance, and it is an basically an interactive medium for learning, and it can illustrate a concept through attractive animation, sound and demonstration. It allows students to progress at their own pace, and that's why it is a student centric approach, and to work independently and problem solve in a group. So it provides also a immediate feedback. So immediate feedback is also important features of the computer assisted learning. So now going to some merits and demerits of the CAL. So first merit is it helps to address the individual needs. So technology can also only fill the gaps between the different uh, individual needs or students with the learning differences. So learning can be more personalized. It adjusts the app based the individual learning progress. So software adapts according to how the students is learning. Okay, so whether it is a game or interactive demonstration or assessment, so that's why it is obviously it is also a student centered approach, and there is active participation by students. And now going to some demerits. Obviously expensive equipment, because it is too much expensive due to the use of costly hardware and software, and after the software can become outdated quickly. So with frequent advances in the technology and reassessment, so reconceptualization of the material and content, so there is a risk of applying technologies that could be irrelevant and or outdated quickly. So that's why it is very much expensive. And now going to the second point, teachers may not be willing to implement it. Okay, because a teacher basically teachers are dependent on teachers are basically depends on the developers. Okay, and they may not be willing to implement it. So there is a risk of over dependence on the technology, over dependence on the developer. Okay, so I think computer assisted learning merits and demerits and what do you mean by a computer assisted learning is clear. So if you have any doubt, so please uh, do comment in my comment section. Okay, so here we are going to discuss um, game-based learning, because game-based learning is one of the example of the computer-assisted learning, and both are similar. Okay, so that's why we at first we have to discuss game-based learning after the computer-assisted learning explanation. Okay, so game-based learning. What do you mean by a game-based learning? Basically, learning is imparted with the use of games. This is known as game based learning. It helps to inculcate the skills, values, morals in the students. So, game based learning is one of the most engaging methods of teaching. As the name suggests, we have already told learning is imparted with the use of games. Okay, rather than focusing on grades, focus is on inculcating different types of skills, values, morals in students, that is on preparing the mindset of the students. There are different types of gaming apps for building vocabulary, practicing typing, memorizing the periodic table, solving the mathematical problems, etc. And the teacher can plan games according to the need of the curriculum. I think what do you mean by a game based learning? It is clear. Okay, so now move on the next slide. So here we can see some merits and demerits of the game based learning. So first one is it helps to boost the student interest. Obviously we have already told it is one of the most engaging methods. So use of games increases the student participation, and that also helps to boost their interest. Okay, so now going to the second point, students don't have to wait for results, they get immediate results. So immediate feedback. Okay, it means immediate feedback. So what is the feature of the computer assisted learning? Computer assisted learning feature of the computer assisted learning is immediate feedback to the students. We have already told that part, because computer assisted learning provides immediate feedback. So that's why game based learning and computer assisted learning both are similar, and game based learning is basically a perfect example of the computer assisted learning. And now move on the third point, students can learn as per their convenience. Okay, so we have already told computer assisted learning or game based learning allows students to progress at their own pace and work independently, problem solve in a group. So that's why student can learn as per their convenience. Okay, and it is not completely student centered, obviously, at the because teacher plans the whole activities, whole game plan according to the need of the curriculum. And now move on the some demerits of the game based learning. So first one is lack of willingness in teachers. Okay, and so there is a lack of willingness in teachers, because uh, teacher can plan whole games procedure according to the need of the curriculum, and that's why there is a lack of willingness in teachers to use such type of methods. And now going to the second demerit, that is costly equipment. It is expensive, similar to the computer assisted learning, and costly equipment and software will be needed for its implementation also. And now move on the third demerit, that is teachers need to undergo proper training. So teachers proper training so that they can plan games according to the curriculum effectively. So that's why they need some training. Okay, so now move on the next topic, so that is seminars. Okay, seminars is also one of the most important teaching method. Okay, so at first we have to know what do you mean by a seminar. Okay, so seminar can also be used as a teaching method, and it is very much similar to the classroom interaction, as there is an expert, okay, or a group of experts from a similar areas who addresses a number of students, okay, or participants. So experts present. So what is seminar? So because seminar is a presentation. Basically, seminar is a presentation where experts present the whole paper, which is followed by the question session in which some queries of the participants are resolved. Slides are also used in seminars to engage the participants. The topic of the seminar is decided in the advance, and experts on that topic are invited to present papers. So seminars are basically organized in almost all educational institutes every year. So that's why seminar is most one of the most popular word to us. Okay, basically it allows for small groups to meet and discuss some academic topics or required reading. Clear? So now move on the some merits. Okay, authentic information receipt. So basically seminars are a great source of information, as the experts of a particular field present the whole topic. So the great quantity of authentic information is received by the participants. And now move on the second point, it helps to improve the presentation skills. Obviously the presentation skills of the participants improve in seminar. And now going to the third point, participants get to know about research activities, what is the research activities and all. So now move on some demerits of the seminar. Okay, so first point is um, organizing a seminar can be costly, as expenses have to be incurred for inviting experts, arranging the accommodation and food for participants and experts. So that's why it is too much costlier, and it is time consuming also. At times could be boring for participants. Okay, and second point, there is no mechanism in evaluating the knowledge, because if students do not participate wholeheartedly, then the purpose of the organizing seminar is not fulfilled. And sometimes there is no mechanism basically in evaluating the knowledge which participants have received from the seminars. So that's why it is also one of the most important demerit of the seminars. And sometimes some seminars are boring because students do not participate wholeheartedly. So that's why purpose is not fulfilled. So I think what is a seminar is, and seminars merits demerits all are clear to everyone. So now move on the fourth teaching methods, that is tutorials. Okay, so tutorials basically are used as follow up of classroom lecture. Okay, after delivering the lecture, so basically follow up of classroom lecture. Okay, so after delivery the lecture, a teacher can group students on the basis of their needs and queries. The teacher can then provide some remedial teaching to clear their doubts in theory content or in a practical work. If the concept is clear to students, then the teacher can assign them a topic to present in the class. The student basically presents a whole topic and the teacher basically supervise or evaluates their presentation, evaluates his or her presentation, and it is also followed by a question session where other students can ask queries. If the presenter is not able to resolve the queries, then teacher can help. Okay, so it basically provides a remedial teaching to clear students doubts. So obviously we can say tutorials is a student centered approach and it is one of the most important merit of the tutorials. And now going to the second point, it helps to sharpen the communication skills. Obviously it is an effective way of teaching, as because as a teacher helps the students and it helps to sharpen students communication skills. Okay, and now move on the third point. It is an effective way obviously of teaching as a teacher addresses the individual needs of the student. So now going to demerits. So it will be difficult to implement in larger classrooms. So that's why tutorials is not possible. The tutorials method is not possible in larger classroom because difficult to implement such type of process or method. And now going to the second point, that is time consuming. Obviously it can be time consuming. The syllabus will not be completed on time. Okay, so I think this is clear. So now move on the fifth and sixth teaching topic, teaching method, that is case study and assignments. So what do you mean by a case study? Basically, case study is a real life situation. Real life situation are assigned to the students. Clear? So in case studies, cases are based on basically real life situation. A case can be defined as an actual or near actual, usually involving a decision or a challenge or opportunity, a problem, an issue, or a controversy affecting a person or persons in an organization. So, students act as a problem solver in this method, in this teaching method, and study the case from the different perspective. They work on a case by observing, analyzing, recording, implementing, summarizing, and making recommendation in order to solve it. The teacher can only arrange the discussion session on the case in the class. Case study ensures student centered learning instead of the traditional approach of teacher centered learning. Students participate actively in solving cases and discussion. It involves interdisciplinary approach. So basically, case study are based on the real life situation. So that's why it helps to bridge the gap between the theory and the practical. Okay, these bridge the gap between the theory and practical, and that's why the students learn to apply theory to tackle real life situation. So it helps students a lot. Okay, so now going to some demerits of the case study. So here we can see some demerits of case study. So first one is um, teachers should be trained properly so that they can use case studies effectively. Now going to the second point, it might be difficult to find a case from real life situation involving the concept under the study. And now going to the third point, case studies cannot be used effectively for the short term courses. It always applicable for the long term courses. Okay, so now going to another teaching methods, that is assignments. So assignments basically the extension of the classroom learning. So in a one sentence, in a one word, what do you mean by assignments? Assignments is a extension of the classroom. Basically, the classroom activity can be followed by the assignment process, and it helps in self learning as it can be extension of the classroom learning. So that is, students have to work on some additional information on a given topic after the class on their own. So it develops a research attitude in students also. And assignment should be simple. While planning an assignment, the teacher should take into consideration the topic covered in the class, level of students, time required to spend on it, etc. If there is no adequate time, so it may lead to frustrations, guilt, and inferiority complex in the students. And assignments can be graded or ungraded. So, if the assignments is ungraded, then the teacher should inform the class that he or she will pick the students randomly and check their assignment. If the students are aware of this, so they will complete the assignments on time, otherwise they may ignore this. So basically, as assignments helps to gather some additional information on topic after the class on their own. Okay, so now going to some merits of the assignments. Assignments helps to develop the creative thinking. Basically, it helps to gather additional information after the class on their own, and it allows students to progress at their own pace, work independently, and problem solve in a group. So that's why it helps to develop creative thinking. Okay, and students now going to the second point, um, grades can be awarded for completing assignments on time. And now move on the second point. So students learn time management skills by working with the deadlines. Okay, so now going to the last merit, that is it is a student centered technique or approach. We have already told that thing, students have flexibility in completing it at their own convenience, and that point we have already told that. Okay, so now move on some demerits of the assignments. So the first one is it is difficult for the teachers to check all assignments, especially in case of classes with a large number of students. So, and the second one, that is students can copy assignments from each other. So it is one of the most important demerit of the assignments. And now going to the third point, deadlines for submitting assignments can pressurize students to focus on completing them without taking care of the quality of the content. So students focuses on the quantity of the content, completing the content, but not focuses on the quality of the content. So that's why it is one of the major demerit of the assignment teaching method. So now move on the last teaching method for this session, that is interactive video. So basically interactive in this interactive video session, there are quiz questions along with the video basically. Okay, so video will take a pause. The viewer has to answer questions and responses will be marked immediately. So the viewer will get immediate feedback. So interactive video is also the example of the computer assisted learning. Basically, the features of the computer assisted learning and the interactive video is same. So it provides also immediate feedback to the viewers or to the students or to the participants. If any of the answers is wrong, he can rewind the video and clear his or her doubt. Okay, so now move on some merit and demerit. So obviously the approach is flexible because if the any of the answers is wrong, he can rewind the video and clear his or her doubt obviously. So that is possible only in the flexible approach. So that's why interactive video approach is a flexible approach. And now move on the second point, it helps to improve the decision making power of the students obviously, and immediate feedback. Obviously students have immediate feedback in the form of the correct responses, so that's why it is one of the most important merit of the interactive video. And last but not the least, student centered approach. Obviously interactive video is the student centered approach, it's a flexible approach. Basically the whole process is run by the students only. Okay, so now move on some demerits. So it's a time consuming process. Obviously it's a time consuming process. And second one is a resources and experts are required. So resources or experts are required for implementing such an approach. Without resources, without costly equipment, hardware, software, without trained experts are not are uh, not present. So that's why the process of the interactive video method is not possible to present to the participants or to the students, etc. So I think the interactive video sessions, what do you mean by the interactive methods, is clear to everyone. So we are done for the today's session. So I hope this session will be very useful to you. So if you like my session, so then like, share, comment. Please do some support and subscribe to my channel for getting more useful session. I will come again with a new session. Till then, stay tuned. Thank you to all of you. Happy learning.